All right. Going to my channel. Going to see if I'm live. Whoops. Let's see. Going to my channel. All right, so I must be live because I can hear myself. Oops. Let's see. So that's a good thing, I guess. Hello, everybody. Can everybody see and hear me? Hello. Live and kicking. Close my door. All right, everybody. Evening, 8 o'clock. So on a Sunday night. Tomorrow is Columbus Day, if we can still say that. I know that there are several states out there that are trying to change that. Apparently, they don't want to relate themselves to Columbus anymore, which, well, whatever. I guess it depends on your opinion of what Columbus really did. But, yeah, so good evening, everyone. Hello. This is actually like a pinkish red. I have no problem wearing pink colors. I'm very comfortable with who I am. So take that, you pink bashers. So anyway, good evening, everybody. Tonight, we're going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to talk about some guns. We're going to talk about some new springs that I got just the other day from, let me see if I can hold the sticker up, from this company right here, M-Carbo. So we're going to talk about that and talk about the process that I went through last night doing the PCR, which, wow, that's all I can say. Now I know why people want to stick with Glocks so much. Let's see. William Penn is saying, this will be my intro to your channel. He just found my channel from Coda Boy. Well, thank you, sir, for joining us. And thank you to Coda Boy for telling you about me. Hopefully I won't disappoint. I won't be surprised if I do. Let's see. So I'm going to go through some of these questions really quick, and then I'm going to talk about some of the things that I found about this this M-Carbo kit, because there are some things that you need to know about if you choose to buy it, which I was not aware of until I bought it. But again, you know, that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you buy things and you do it and you learn from it. And I certainly had a long lesson on how to put together a sear cage on a CZ, which, let me tell you something, it is not fun. It's a ginormous pain in the rear end. So let's talk about some questions here. Kathleen's asking, did I put a new sight on my Phantom? I certainly did. I got the Phantom right here. These are the TFX, or I always say the TFX. These are the True Glow Tritium Pros. But you'll notice there is an orange globe in the front. Now they come in orange. And I've got to say, I am very impressed with these sights. They are very good, very visible in the daytime, and they light up fairly well. Not the brightest tritium, but they're going to do the job either way. So yes, I did. And they're very good, and I recommend them. All right, so let's start talking about this right away. Let's get this started, and let's talk about M-Carbo. So I went ahead and I bought two kits because I wanted to put some new springs in the PCR, and I also wanted to put some new springs in the Phantom. One of the things that I think every CZ owner will talk about when they buy one of these handguns in the hammer-fired configuration is the double action is a fairly heavy double action, and the single action is usually pretty good. Nonetheless, the double action usually needs a little bit of work. So I went ahead and I bought the two kits. I got them in. Again, this is not, you know, me talking about them because they're, you know, telling me to do it, but I wanted to see what all the hubbub was about and see if it was actually that good. So I actually watched one of their videos, and I guess the owner of the company installed a set on his, I think it was a CZ75 Compact, but it's a steel frame, safety only. So he got a 5-pound double action, and I think almost like a 2 or 2.5 pound single action. And I was amazed by that. So I said, all right, let me try it out. Let me see what this looks like. So I went ahead and I installed this one first. And basically, his installation video is very good. It's a very good video. Very in depth in regards to removing all of the little things here. The trigger spring is new, and that's actually a fairly straightforward install. Nothing really major involved with that. You know, obviously your plunger spring, your striker spring, basic stuff. That's nothing. However, on their video, because it's a safety only, there's only one little pin that connects to safety, and then once you remove that, you just can pull out the entire ejector and sear. Well, that wasn't the case with this. So when you remove the decocker here, there's another pin that has a little disc over it that you have to remove the disc, and then you have to slide the pin from left to right. Now, when you remove that pin, man, I wish I would have known this, but as soon as you move that pin out to try to get to the sear, everything starts to get out of place. So I had to actually install it backwards. So what I did was, once I realized that I had screwed up, the whole sear cage was just falling to pieces. So I took everything out and I freaked out because there's a lot of springs. There's 3 springs and then 3 pieces. There's a sear, there's the something, and then the something else. So I had to watch like 8 or 9 different videos to try to figure out how to piece it all back together. And I actually got it back together, but it took me probably an hour and a half to get it back together again, which was not what I was hoping for. However, with that being said, one of my famous lines, I will tell you that it has cleaned up these triggers quite well. Now, am I getting a 5 action or a 5-pound double action? Absolutely not. So I'm getting about an 8-pound, 3.6 ounce double action, and that's in half cock position because that's how I would carry it. So I'll do it one more time. I don't know if I can get it to work. So my average is averaging about 8 pounds, 7.9 ounces. Now the single action is where this little baby shines a little bit more. So it's 3 pounds, 4.4 ounces on the first pull. 3 pounds, 5.4 ounces. So I'm getting an average of 3 pounds, 4.9 ounces on the single action, which in my opinion is very good. The 8 ounce or the 8 pound pull is not bad, man. It's actually pretty good, solid. It's a lot smoother than it was, I have to say. So I went ahead and I did the Phantom also. Same thing. The only thing I did not do on the Phantom was the sear spring in here. I left it alone because apparently the whole trigger system, whatever you want to call it, components are all hooked up to the trigger bar, which is then hooked up into the sear. So it comes out as one piece. And then I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to do it on that one. And I'm okay with that. You know, the way I look at it is everything else is in there the way it needs to be. And for my double action on the Phantom now, I'm getting a 7 pound, 3.3 ounce trigger pull, and that's not bad. And an average of 7 pounds, 5.2 ounces. So for some reason, the the sear spring that wasn't replaced on here, I'm getting a better double action on there, which is kind of interesting. And then on my single action on this bad boy, 3 pounds, 2.1 ounces. So I'm getting 3 pounds, 2.3 ounces. So what are my thoughts about M Carbo? I think it's pretty good. I would say that, you know, take your time, be patient, because if not, you guys are going to like pull your hair out. I don't have that problem, obviously, but I would say that it is actually pretty good. And for the price, you can't beat it. It was 20 bucks. Plus I got 10% off because I didn't fill out my order the first time. And I'm fairly happy with it. I mean, it doesn't really necessarily feel any different than, like, let's say a Cajun spring kit. But, I mean, it might smoothen out a little bit more. It might feel a little bit better after I shoot it again. So I'm going to take these out and shoot them. So we'll see what happens. The weight of the hammer spring, I'm not sure. It's whatever came with the kit. Let me see. I don't even know if I have any of the paperwork anymore. I think it's over there somewhere. So I think it says on the website. So you might want to check that out. And then, yeah, the hammer spring is in there as well. That's new as well. Yep, absolutely. So that's why I'm going to take them to the range. I don't suspect there'll be any problems with it. I don't think it's any different than a Cajun kit in regards to the springs, with the exception of like your sear spring and your trigger spring. So I don't suspect there'll be any issues, but that's why you got to take them back out and shoot them, make sure that they run, you know, effectively. All right, let's see. Double B is saying they have a question. What is your question? Is $500 a good deal for a Phantom? Is that out the door? Or is that just 500 without taxes or shipping or whatever? I mean, I got mine super cheap because it was used. Like somebody never even shot the damn thing. But I think you could probably find them for the mid-4s right now. I think you could do that. So I think so. Let's see. I believe it does. So CZ75s, and since this is a Phantom, it's an SPO1 as well. So I would assume it would work for you as well. 500 out the door. I don't think it's bad. Is it brand new? It's brand new. Yeah, I think that's fairly good. I think it's a good price for it. I think that's actually a good price. What do you guys think? So the other thing that I did this weekend was I actually took this little guy out. Took the old Masada out. And I don't want to go too much into it because I want to do a review on it. And I'm kind of bummed because Honest Outlaw did his review first. Well, second, because I think it's the second one he did. And I watched the video and I said to myself, damn it, he covered that, he covered that, he covered that. So as I kept watching the video, I was like, he just covered every single damn thing I was going to say. I got a couple of different opinions on the gun than he does, but I mean, for the most part, he's spot on in regards to what he said. I got to say, I'm highly impressed with the Masada. I really am. I mean, there's definitely some things about the gun I'm a little iffy on. And I wouldn't say iffy. I would just say, kind of question it a little bit. But and the gun is unloaded, just so you know. But one of the things I did notice is that there's a lot of play in the slide to frame. There's a lot of rattling, a lot of wiggling there. But overall, I mean, it ran. I ran 450 rounds through this gun and not one single hang up. So it was a good experience. It was definitely a lot fun. I did watch yours, by the way, humble, but I just think his was better. um, but I think that everybody's coming up with the same conclusions in regards to this gun. I think most people who have shot it, who have reviewed it, are saying all of the same things. It's a good gun, solid gun. The trigger's really, it's a good trigger. It's different, it's definitely not a Glock trigger because you don't really have that super positive push on the reset of the gun, and even that real solid wall. So it's not a Glock trigger like. I felt that it was more or less like an M&P trigger. I think that's the best way to do it because that M&P never really has that solid wall. It's almost like a rolling trigger, which I kind of think is pretty good. And the reset is, it's right there. It's not super long. There's not really a lot of take up after that, and then it breaks again. So the trigger overall, I think is a good trigger. I would give it at least a solid B plus, if not an A minus. And I think it just really was good. It was a good solid gun. I would also say that the stippling is a little iffy. That's where I think it's going to need some work. It's a little smooth, but not horrible. And of course, I shot it with the optics ready on it, whatever you want to call that, the red dot. In this case, the green circle. But I didn't use the irons. I felt like, why do I want to shoot it with irons? I have plenty of guns I shoot with irons. And really, I bought this for that simple reason, to be able to throw the dot on here. Again, that's the Swamp Fox. I got to say, guys, this thing's pretty solid. It's a solid, affordable optic. It didn't move. It didn't lose zero. The best part was I only hand tightened these. I didn't even put blue Loctite. So I kept checking them after like every 30 rounds to make sure it didn't come off or anything, or it wasn't getting loose. And the thing held itself, no problem. So I think overall the day was good. It was a good shooting day. I was very, very excited to see my results shooting an optic. I haven't done it often. I've done it before in the past, but it's not a bad setup, man. It really is not. And Logan White is saying it's looks like an Israeli Glock. I just totally messed that up. Yep, and like I said, you got to admit, the IWI company makes good, solid guns. They're going to be using them for defense of their nation. And look, I like it. I think it's a solid offering. And I think for the prices right now, anywhere from $375-ish to $400, you're getting a lot. It's a big bang for your buck. And I would highly recommend it at this point. Let's see. Music saying, how does the trigger compare to upgraded Glock trigger like an Apex? Again, it's totally different. The trigger itself feels like it's a very smooth trigger, but you don't feel that real solid wall. It's almost like it rolls into the trigger being actually being able to be used. It's just it's an interesting trigger. It's not horrible. You could feel it. You could feel the spring right there. And then it just breaks. So, it is a solid trigger. It's not as positive in regards to those walls, but I think that's kind of good. I like that. And it does take some time to learn that trigger, no doubt. All right, let's see. Pistol Pete's asking Masada versus an M&P 2.0. Ooh, that's a good one. Look, if you're going with an M&P, and I would say that this gun reminds me a lot of an M&P. It feels a lot like it. It sits on my hand. With the slide configuration and the frame, almost like my M&P. The M&P is a little bit thicker, but it's very similar to that. With the magazine, you get a very nice lip for your support hand. It's tough. I think the advantage goes to the Masada because it's optic ready. And I still don't know why Smith has not sent those out yet. It's just crazy. They really should. They absolutely should. Humble saying, trigger shape on Masada is fantastic. Character of trigger isn't impressive, but the geometry makes it stupid easy to shoot. Yeah, I agree. It's a nicely shaped trigger. It's got a nice design. It's not a full hook, and obviously it breaks at almost a 90-degree angle. So, it's a nice trigger. It's a nice trigger. The blade goes all the way in, the trigger safety goes all the way in. So I mean, there's, like I said, ton of good stuff about this gun. Ton of good stuff. Let's see. Michelangelo is saying he picked up an F&X 9. Don't know if I want to go back to striker fired guns. Yeah, I mean, I've been through that too. I've been carrying nothing but hammer fired guns. I carried my PCR basically all weekend before I put the spring job in, and then today I was carrying the 225. So I feel you, man. Totally into that. Logan saying, "Geez, hell of a price. Don't seduce me into buying it. Do it. I'm telling you, you're gonna like it. It's a very, very good gun. It's absolutely worth it." And I'm not going to say that, about every single gun that I've bought, but this gun is really good. It performed really well. I didn't notice anything that to me was of concern. And I'll tell you, man, this thing launches the empty casings out like 800 feet. I was getting hit like on the side of my face, not because it was a bad pattern, but because it was hitting the wall and bouncing right back into my face. So it's a solid gun. Probably, in my opinion, this is going to be the sleeper gun of the year. I have to say that because I just think it did everything right. I really do. Now, again, there's a little bit of wiggle, but other than that, everything is good on this gun. Let's see. Fresh is saying, loving the Masada, no optic on it yet, but have plans on it for sure. Triggers are pretty darn good too. Yeah, they're a good solid gun. I definitely thought it was a good job. Humble, if you're smart, just buy it. Just buy it from them. I'm sure they're going to give you a nice discount. That's how it works, man. I would totally do it. Ohio saying, the closest trigger to Masada I felt is a CZ Omega with super light springs in it. Same roll into the brake. Yeah, I don't have that experience. None of my CZs have really great springs in them. They just have the basics. Slight upgrades, but nothing crazy. I would say for me, I have not felt a trigger like that. Boy, I hate to say this. You guys are going to laugh, but it actually reminds me a little bit on the take-up of a Caracol. Not the reset. Reset's better on the Masada. And this one works. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Pistol Pete saying Caracol. That's how it does. It's got kind of that like rolling break to it. And as soon as you get to that point, it's staging and then it goes. And the reset is fairly good. I mean, look, all I can say is this. This was like my first legit long session with a red dot optic on there. I posted a picture of it, and I've got to say, I was doing way better than I thought I was going to do with this thing. And it's just easy to shoot. It is really just an easy gun to shoot. One of the things that I did notice was, even the controls. And like I said, I don't want to get too much into this because I'd like to save it for my review. But even the controls are in the right spot. And I think that's what makes it good. The only thing I had to work on was thumb placement for my support because my ridiculously long thumb kept activating the slide release. So sometimes I wasn't getting it locked back, but that's how it is. All right, let's see. Any try the Archon Type B? I have not. I'm not buying that gun. There's too many good guns out there for half the price that, in my opinion, you don't need that, but that's just me. Any problems with the Masada so far? Nope, 450 in and not a hiccup, not a hang up, nothing. I didn't notice anything that would make me feel like this gun is going to be problematic in any way, shape, or form. I mean, obviously, I like to get a few more 100 rounds through it before I would trust it, but right now it's 100%, man. It's absolutely 100%. Knuckles is saying his Archon Type B is awesome, and he loves his, so that's awesome. Yep, I mean, like I said, I don't necessarily want to get one myself. I did at one point, but not so much. Not so much now. There's too many good things out there to play with. I thought about some Talon Grips. I think that's an option. For me, I'm probably going to get the stippled just to be a little bit more aggressive and work it up maybe a little bit higher for the support. But overall, I mean, like I said, there's only a couple of things about this gun that I think are a little bit on the shortcoming side of things, but nothing that, in my opinion, should ever convince you not to buy this gun. And like I said, I don't say that often, but this one definitely has me 100% saying go and get it because it is fantastic. It is a great shooter, really, really affordable, and you're getting so much for it. I don't see why you wouldn't. Let's see. So Music is asking, what optic is this? So this is the Kingslayer from Swamp Fox, and I bought this. I did buy it, and I wanted to try it out because somebody had mentioned it on the channel in one of the chats before, and I'd never heard of it. So I wound up contacting them and asking them a little bit about their product and what they're doing and everything, and it was a nice conversation. So they did give me a little bit of a discount. Again, not crazy, just a small discount on it. So I bought it. I said, what the hell, why not? And it's pretty cool. This is a green one. This is a green circle dot. And I adjusted it before I went shooting because I knew it was a little bit too high. So I wound up adjusting it, and I adjusted it down a little bit. And as soon as I got to the range, I was good. I mean, like I said, it was good for me. Now, am I a championship shooter with red dots? Absolutely not. I'm not going to lie to you and say I'm, special force grade person, because I'm not. But for really a beginner, I wouldn't even call myself a novice. I would say I'm a beginner at this. I had a really good day shooting it. Now, one of the things I did notice is that as the distance went out, my groupings were getting bigger and bigger, but I think it had something to do with big circle dot on here. But I'll tell you, to begin with, as a beginner, I would highly recommend a circle dot. I mean, that's just what worked for me. May not work for you, and that's with a guy with shaky hands. But I felt very, very good about it. Let's see. Michelangelo is asking, don't know if I can hit your 10K trigger pulls. This double action trigger is getting heavy. Yeah, that's from last time, right? The 10,000 mark. Everybody do it now. See if you break that pin. Let's see. Elster's Rifles and Reloading. So I'm not a pistol guy. Honest opinion of the Sky pistols they are selling on PSA for an absolute budget pistol. Some are down at 130 after rebate, mostly around 150. So there's kind of a double-edged sword to this. Sky pistols, I would say save $100, go get yourself something else. The reliability is iffy sometimes. Some people love them, some people hate them. I personally would never buy a $130 handgun, unless it was something that I knew was going to be out of the gate awesome. I don't believe in Sky, so I wouldn't recommend it. However, right now you could probably find Shields, the 1.0 for probably maybe $250. So maybe just save $100 more if you can, and then go that route. I know there are a lot of people out there who talk up the Taurus G2Cs and now the G3 and all that other stuff. I personally don't like Taurus either, but I would absolutely recommend a Shield at that price. And then Michelangelo saying it's hard to beat the 250 Shield 1.0 at PSA. So they are having that sale. So that's the one I would jump on, to be honest with you. It's a great shooter. Very reliable, excellent track record, and for really $100 more, you're going to get more love out of that gun than probably the Sky. But Sky does have more colors, if that's important to you. Let's see. Music saying hand movement throws shots off easily. Yeah, and I think that's the benefit of using one of those circle dots, especially for shaky hands like me. One of the things I did notice was that I felt good. Like I said, I was shooting 7 yards out. Again, just beginning. I'm not going to sit here and say I should be going out 25 yards or anything, but I was pretty on. I don't know if I was just having a good day or what, but it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and I had a good day. Again, I put it out a little bit further, 10, 12 yards, and I noticed things were not adding up the way I wanted to at that point, so I shut it down for the day. I wanted to finish on a good note. So next time at the range, I'm going to take it out, start working on it again, and go from there. Let's see. Yeah, and then the Creed. Creed's a big boy. It's a big gun. It's a good gun. Solid gun. Nice trigger. But, it's a little bit bigger than something like a Sky or a Shield, obviously. What I would also, like you're saying TPR 9C. Now, what about the BP? What is it? The BP 9mm? Those are pretty good, I heard as well. I'm not too sure about those. Like I saw one on Gunbroker, which I was actually tempted. I don't know why, actually, but it was $259, but it was all FDE. So, I got a problem with FDE guns. So, but I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I did not do the 507 or 508. I actually want to start with the Swamp Fox because it's kind of the cheaper version of the other two. And the thing that I liked about this one over the other two is the fact that it's green. I know that sounds kind of trivial and stupid, but let me tell you something. This green shows up very well. Super bright, very adjustable, and I've got to say it fit nicely, man. It works. It works well. So 508's coming soon. I got the RDO, the Beretta APX Centurion RDO coming in soon. So I'll probably throw I don't know if I'm going to do the 507. I might do the 508. and put it on there. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I'm not sure yet. Armson saying a Sky when first released, got rid of it. Trigger not so good and pins work their way out. Yeah, that's a bad gun right there. Scott saying he would buy a Taurus before a Sky. I mean, would you buy a High Point before a Sky? I think people would probably buy a High Point first. That's funny. High Points. What else I got on the table? So that's all. That's really all I got on the table tonight. You know, the good thing about the Masada is that there was no pickiness on ammo. So once again, I use this stuff right here, S&B. I love this stuff. It's like my favorite ammo. So if anybody from S&B is out there, hey, hook me up, bro, because I love the ammo. It's good stuff. So Pistol Pete saying, get the Shield or M&P 2.0C. Yeah, and the M&P Compact is going to be a little bit more expensive, probably a couple of $100 more. But if you're looking for cheap and concealable, the Shield's the way to go, in my opinion. And then Shooter right away is making a snarky comment on an optic you've probably never used, sir. Although that is a funny name. That would be funny if that's what it was. So, man, this is my my new red dot swamp ass optics. You know, it's got to be messy. Let's see. Rotodime is saying the G2C is as reliable as any pistol I own, and I own quite a few. So there you go. Let's see. 12 is asking thoughts on Terran Tactical Gucci guns. Not for me. You know, they're, I think, a niche gun. I think a lot of times when you see these overpriced guns like that, I think automatically it goes into that mode of it's not really something that is a necessity, more so maybe something that's a status piece or just kind of a showcase piece that you say, well, look what I got. And everybody's like, whoa, look at that thing. You know, it has no place for me, but that's me, you know, and if somebody likes them, God bless. God bless. Ranger 10mm saying the Yeet cannon before the Sky all day long. Good. So there you go. So I think right now we've established that Skies are a no-go. And I think we can all agree to that. Especially when we have people saying they prefer other manufacturers that also have a weird train or a weird, if I could say this word, it'd be great. A weird track record in regards to, you know, some of the things. All right, let's see. All right, so we got another outdoor excellent price. So try it there if you want S&Bs. Yeah, there's a big sale by me, so I just picked up a boatload of it. And I love it. It's just really good ammo. It's clean. There's no issues with it. You don't get a lot of brass fragmentation. It's a good, solid ammo. And if you can find them cheap, go for it. You won't be disappointed. Do I track round count? I do sort of, but not super accurate. You know, like I usually know where I'm about, like an average. You know, for example, the Masada, I know I have 450 rounds through it because it's the first time I shot it. So that's why I know it. And I know exactly how much I took with me. So I kind of know. I used to track it by just writing it down somewhere. And now I don't so much. You know, I have some guns that I don't shoot often and others that I shoot too much. I would say probably the most shot handgun that I own right now is definitely my Walther PPQ. That has probably, I mean, probably close to 2,000 rounds, maybe more. It was just such a great gun for me so many times that I just couldn't help it. I would say my second most shot right now is my M&P Compact because the gun is just a rocket. I mean, it's awesome to shoot it. And I think right now, probably my P01 has the next amount that's higher. So, you know, I don't really keep track anymore because I really don't care anymore. You know, I'm just going to go and shoot what I want. And that's that, you know. Shooter saying he's not hating on him when I hear swamp and you might want to, yeah, that sounds like a sweating problem, sir. Dennis B, where do I buy my ammo? Wherever the hell it's cheap. The Thruway actually by me, which I'm sure you know them. They had these on sale. So I bought I think I bought like 1,500 rounds from them. So you got to go when there's sales, you know? No problem. Have a good night, sir. Let's see. Yeah, and again, you know, even with reselling guns, you can only take that for the paper it's written on. Because some people say, "Oh, yeah, I only got like 200 rounds through it," and then you open up the gun and it looks like it's been battered and abused. So, all right, let's see. Armsman's asking, "What, if any, are you considering for your next purchase? How is the Caracal holding up now? Is it gone?" Well, that's an interesting story. So the Caracal is in Idaho right now again, and I'm waiting to hear what the situation was. I have some I have some speculations as to what's causing the problem with the gun, and I've made those things, I guess, known to the Caracal. And I've got to say, and I've said this from day one, their customer service has been amazing. It has been the best experience with a gun manufacturer that I've ever had when it comes to sending something back. I'm hoping that they can diagnose whatever this is, and I'm hoping that what I think it is, they look at it and they realize that that's what it is. Right now I haven't heard anything from them. They've had it now since Monday of this week. I think it was this week, maybe. Yeah, Monday of this week. So I haven't heard from them yet. So I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to hear it. It kind of sucks because, I definitely want to get the gun back and be able to run it consistently to see what it can do. Because last time I shot it, I didn't have as many issues with it, but my groups were nice. It shoots a little bit low, but I think that's more me than the gun. But I would just like to be able to get a consistent 500 rounds through this gun, and I can't at this point. So that's what sucks about it. So, we'll see how it plays out. Dustin is asking opinion on Vetter holsters. I think they're pretty good. If you want to buy one, use 1776 or bust. Or something. I don't even know. I put a link up like a million years ago, and I get money for it. I think I get like 10 cents if you use it, which is kind of funny. And also Harry's holsters. I never tell anybody any of this stuff. It's so pathetic. I probably should be like doing it like every 5 minutes. But yeah, if you go to Harry and you order a holster from him, if you do, like, I think it's 1776 or 1776 or bust. I don't know. I can't remember. I get a cut. So that's it, but I never say anything. Like, I just, whatever. Yes, sir. It has been a very disappointing. You know what I want to ask you, Armsman, is are you considering making an RDO model for your holster? Because I love your APX holster for me, man. It's a beautiful holster, but with the RDO, it's not. I don't think it's optic ready, is it? So I think that'd be something you should look into. Wink, wink. Let's see. Michelangelo saying they are good holsters for the price and they have some of the fastest shipping. Yeah, I have not had any problems with any of the Vetters I own. I would recommend them. Black Arch Holsters. Harry's makes good stuff. The Armsman makes good stuff. I mean, there's so many good choices out there. And I would tell you now that you can't go wrong right now. I mean, there's just so many holster makers out there that do great jobs. And, it's all about what you prefer. Like today I was wearing, the hell was I wearing today? I was wearing a Vetter holster for the 225. Yesterday I was wearing a Black Arch, this one before I did the spring job on the PCR, and it's not appendix. I was carrying it on my strong side and it actually works really well. So, I mean, there's so many good things out there, man. But I would definitely check out, all that I mentioned, Vetter, Harry, Black Arch, the Armsman, Mid-Atlantic holsters. I mean, there's so many good things out there. I think I've put out like 500 videos on holsters, so you can definitely check those out. Yeah, that'd be sweet, man. I appreciate it. Maybe you'd consider something in green this time, because I'm trying to get the green grip frame for it. I know I'm such a fashion snob with guns. Pathetic, right? Yeah, I mean the Masada was just a good solid offering too, and like I said, there's so many good things out there right now. Let's see. Just seeing what else we got here. So let me ask you guys a question. I mean, would you be more apt to doing like a grip tape slash, Talon grips, or would you be more interested in doing stippling for guns? Which one would work better for you? I've never really been a stippling guy. Like I've always gone the cheap route, and just gotten like, Talon Grips or something like that. But that 90-2, man, it's just awesome. I got to shoot those too. Shit. But I would totally go for something like that. Oh, Michelangelo saying Dark Earth is my go-to holster color. Yeah, I don't really have a go-to holster color. I mean, it's just, you know, I like them all, really. I just, everybody says, but who cares? I mean, nobody's ever going to see it. I don't know. There's something about personalizing everything, and I think that's fine. And then Nick is saying the silicone carbide grips. I heard those are really good too. I heard they last a long time. Let's see. Mark Lindner took your advice and got another double action pistol since I carry one for duty anyway. Beretta M9. So I got an HK45C from Cabela's, used but unfired. Shot it today, no issues. Sweet. Yeah, those 45s are pretty nice. It's a compact too, which is nice. I've seen a full size, man. I was like, wow, that thing's really, really cool. I don't know. One of the things that I always said about HK was that I don't know, like they make a lot of uninspiring guns. I know that sounds like blasphemy to some of you who are HK people, but I don't know. Like to me, there's nothing really, I don't know, nothing really attractive about them. Like I wasn't a big VP9 fan. I do like the SK. That would be one that I would consider if I was going to go subcompact route. That would definitely be one I would consider. But I've just never been really inspired by H&K or Heckler and Koch. Let's see. Imagine I would do stippling for competition and Talon for guns that need the extra grip. Yeah. The only thing I don't like about the Talon grips is the rubberized grips. Like they're supposed to feel, I would assume, more sticky, but they don't. I feel like, if your hands are sweaty, I've never really felt they give me much traction, which is kind of weird, I guess. Dennis B is asking you, Armsman, if you make holsters for the P07. I'm going to probably say yes, but I don't know. Oh, that must have been fun. Let's see. Keenan saying he likes HK, but they are just stubborn to the civilian market. Yeah, I think I think that's the big joke about them too. The idea they kind of snub their nose up to the public because they don't really cater to that. Which, when you think about it, there's a lot of manufacturers out there that do that. I mean, there's a lot of gun companies that make guns, but they don't make them for you and me. They make them for law enforcement and for military, and we're just kind of the afterthought. So I think that a lot of times people get bent out of shape about it, but that's where the most of the money comes from. So why wouldn't they? Let's see. All right. So I got a question for you guys. So I was thinking about this on the way in tonight. And my question for you is, do you guys know of any manufacturers of handguns, and we'll just say guns in general, that are out there that do probably some of the worst marketing for their own products? And if you could choose maybe two, let's say just one, who would be at the top of that list? What gun company would be at the top of that list for the worst marketing strategies ever? So I want to hear what you guys have to say. And I'll read some of your comments down when they come up, and then I'll tell you what my two choices are for the two worst marketing companies out there right now. So here's your answer. Yes, absolutely. He makes holsters for 65 models. And let me see if I can find it. Gotta get it. So this is the one he made for me for the APX Centurion. This thing is bad to the bone. Very nice. Awesome. So again, good stuff from the Armsman. No doubt. All right, let's see what we got here. Blah, 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 blah. We've got, oh wait, let's start up here. We've got SIG. We've got Walther. We've got Springfield. Keltec. We've got Ruger, the Yeet Cannon, or in this case, the Canyon. Steve L says Steyr. Pistol Pete says Beretta does good marketing for clothing. Let's see. Beretta, they promote shirts and hats more than a gun, it seems to me. Let's see. Beretta, unless they are a clothing company only now. Colt just did it with their AR-15, no more sales to civilian market. SIGs again, the P250, which was a huge bust for many people. Steyr, Colt and Ruger, maybe FN. I don't even know if FN actually advertises anything. I don't think they have to. I think they have a pretty good government contract somewhere. Let's see. Another SIG. I think that's now the fourth SIG. I'm going to say what my choices are. So my number two choice is definitely going to be Steyr. I don't know what their deal is, man. Look, they came out with the MF. It's a fantastic gun. They're going to be releasing the M's, I believe, next year, first quarter, and they should be really good. The L9 or the MFL was fantastic. It's a great gun, but it disappeared. As fast as it showed up, it's gone. Nobody talks about it. Nobody looks at it. Nobody even thinks about it except TN Steyr. And, he's the only one who's still pushing it. And I'd love to, but I don't have a gun. I don't have one, and I wasn't going to buy one at that point. There was a lot of things that I wanted to get, and that just wasn't in the rotation for money. So I kind of sat back and said, "Screw it." And then I'm waiting for the M. That's the one I really would like to get. But I think Steyr is definitely number two. Number one is, and I'm going to agree with the majority of you, is Beretta. Beretta is, I'm telling you guys, they have the worst marketing team ever. I don't know if they're in Italy. I don't know if they're here. I don't know where they are, but they absolutely are atrocious. And again, I think Steyr and then C. Kim brings up a great point. They do a lot of contracts with militaries worldwide. So there really has never been that real push in the civilian market, but I think it would help. And I think it would help to get their namesake out there if they would just push it more and promote the gun more. I mean, hell, they could have hired me. I would have done it, for the gun, because I just love their guns that much. But Beretta drives me insane. So I'm going to give you why they drive me insane. And the reason being is, so Beretta pushed out the APX and then the APX RDO, full size. I didn't even know they released the Centurion until I was just reading an article about Beretta and the APX line. And it came out and it was invisible. Nobody talked about it. Nobody had it. I don't even think anybody's talking about it now. I will be very soon. But that Centurion was a great gun. I loved it. I actually traded it off for the RDO version of it. And I can't wait to get it because it's such a good gun, but yet no promotional value whatsoever. If you reach out to Beretta, they don't even contact you. They don't talk to you. They don't say anything. They do nothing. And one of the things that I also think is crazy is that they release the RDO, and there's no manufacturer out there right now that I'm aware of that even makes sights to co-witness. So I'm like, God, like how could you have the oldest gun company in the world, from what I believe? I could be wrong, but my God, like not have any real push. It's just very odd to me. And that's why they're always disappointing. But I love their guns. They're just disappointing as a company, I think, maybe sometimes. We must remember import hassles with some firearms. That is true. But again, if you're a good company, you're going to foresee those problems and you're going to react to those problems ahead of time. Let's see. Keenan saying that Beretta APX got a new contract arming the Polish police departments. Again, I love the APX. I think it's a solid gun. Honestly, guys, that's why I sold all my Glocks, because I just felt the APX was a better system for me. Beretta and Glock are self-marketing. They're such iconic guns and they sell themselves. That's a good point too, but even Glock does it. You see it all the time. Glock is always putting things out there in social media, and then Beretta puts out a sweatshirt or like today I was looking at one and it was like a fleece sweatshirt, and it just closed in on the icon of Beretta. I'm like, that's what you're doing? Like, seriously? Come on, guys. Really? Nick saying, I just heard they were making LTT Centurion compact. Yes, they are. I actually watched a video from the Yankee Marshal where he talked about that, as he said he was not going to the march in Washington because he's too broke. And Michelangelo is saying that Beretta was founded in 1526, oldest firearm manufacturer in the world. So they're doing something right, that's for sure. Who do I think has the best marketing for firearms? And we have to talk about that because, you can't, firearm manufacturers can't publicly do anything on the airwaves. They can't show anything on TV. As far as I know, I don't even think they can do anything on radio. So it's kind of difficult for them because they're kind of in between a rock and a hard place because, how do you actually get out there? But that's the whole use of the internet. You've got to get out there and push your brand on the internet. So I would say that, in my opinion, who is best at it? Man, that's a good question. That's a really good question. See, I would think it's Glock. I know a lot of people say they don't have to market and advertise, but they always market and advertise. Even if they don't have to, they still do. And I give it to them because they're still producing great stuff. So I think Glock is probably the overall winner in that. Let's see. So yes, that would be my answer. That Glock is the best marketing company out there. Smith, maybe. Smith, I think sometimes misses a beat. And the only reason, I guess not. I guess Smith would come in second, but we know that Smith is always trying to creep up on Glock every chance they get, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think they make a great gun. I mean, the M&P series are fantastic. So Mark is asking me to ask all of you. So here, I will post the question mark, and then you can ask them directly. It says, can you ask this to your viewers? The HK-45C takes the same holsters as the P30. I just would like confirmation, such as Safariland and DeSantis. So if any of you know that, please let us know. Radagast is asking, how would you compare the APX to the Masada? Boy, that's a good question too. Man, that's a really good question. So like the APX full size, it was a great gun. I love shooting it. It felt a little bit like it was a little bit thicker on the top of the slide. Definitely more so than the Masada. The Masada feels a little bit more proportional, whereas the APX doesn't. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because you can always adjust the grip size, but I think the grip diameter, I guess, of the Masada is more proportional with the slide width as well. Whereas what I felt with the APX is that the grip was thinner with the radius, and then the slide was thicker. So you definitely could feel that. You could tell that, but it wasn't uncomfortable. Trigger-wise, I think the APX has more of a standard trigger in regards to what you're used to. Like, so that really, really, really positive wall that you come to, and then a nice pushed reset when it comes out. Whereas the Masada is more like a rolling trigger. Very, very similar also to a PPQ trigger out of the box. However, the Masada does not have that real springy push of your reset. Hopefully that helps you, but that's just kind of my honest take on both. That's a lot of words. Sorry, guys. All right, let's see. I've heard Steyr doesn't really care about handguns, kind of an afterthought. The problem with Steyr is, when you deal with Steyr, you're dealing with the mother company out in Austria, but then you also have Steyr USA. And Steyr USA has been trying to do things to really promote themselves here in the U.S., to make a market for themselves. But again, I mean, I haven't heard from them in ages. So I'm a little bummed about that. I was hoping that with my enthusiasm of the gun, that maybe they'd throw out an olive branch a little bit and bring me into the fold a little bit. And I'd have no problem doing it. I would tell you guys I would do it because I've said it from day one. They make, hands down, some of the best pistols out there. And I have no problem saying that. All right, let's see. So Dustin is asking, Glock 43X or SIG 365XL. I'm looking at purchasing my first carry gun. Peace by it be the journey says the 365XL. I would say, why not go out and get a Shield 4-inch? That's what I would get. You've got the versatility of the long grip or the short grip. So it's great. Reb is saying, what is battery life supposed to be for the Swamp Fox? I believe, and don't actually, hold on, I have it here somewhere. My table is a disaster, man. I have shit thrown everywhere. It's ridiculous. I got to clean up. I think it's something like, it's very short, and I think that's the downside of the gun, or excuse me, of the optic. So I think it's either they give you a 50,000 round guarantee, which I don't know how you can count that, which is kind of cool, but they do buy an honor code, which I think is kind of cool. The battery, I can't see where it says battery anything on here. I think it's something like 5,000 hours, something like that. So it's not a tremendous amount of time. And then I think it goes off after 4 hours of inactivity. So I would say that's probably the biggest downside. But again, wait for the review. Are they readily available? From the website, it seems like they are. If you go to IWI, they have the magazines there, and I think they're $20, whether it's the normal capacity or the busted capacity of my 10-round state. Let's see. Dustin saying the shield feels too thin in my hand. Yeah, yeah, that's a possible. You know, and look, like I said, it's always about what you guys think the best is for yourself. I know I got to clean it. It's just terrible. I mean, I wish I could show you what this looks like here, but I literally have guns and ammo and holsters and magazines and all kinds of crap. Like when I was done with the spring kit last night, I just left everything as is. I couldn't do anymore. I had it. Thank God I did not videotape that. It would have been just like a 2-hour session of me cursing, which could be fun, I guess. And I think at the end of the day, Keith makes a great point by saying you can't go wrong with either the 365 XL or the Glock 43X. Both are great choices. You know, it always is going to depend on what feels better in your hand and maybe what you have experience with. You know, the 43X was nice. I liked it quite a bit. I liked it better than the 48, but the 43X was really sweet. It was a sweet gun. Definitely felt very, very balanced because of the longer grip and the shorter slide. And for me, the P365 just never really felt good in my hand. And that's just my own personal opinion. You know, I remember saying something once and somebody like went crazy on me saying, well, what do you think you have, like Sasquatch hands? And I'm like, no, it just doesn't feel right in my particular hands. That's all. Do I still have the XDS mod 2? I do not. I do not. And what do I think about it? Well, you know, if people are going to start throwing things at me because I'm going to say Springfield Armory, you know, it's a good gun. It was a good gun. It shot everything. The one thing I even mentioned on the video was I wasn't a big fan of the grip safety on it. The way they changed it, I didn't like it. And the trigger was it was heavy. It was a very heavy trigger. But fit and finish was great. It was built really nicely. It shot very well. You know, unfortunately, it just happens to have that company's name on it, you know, which a lot of people don't want to hear. Did I shoot with just irons? I did not shoot them with just irons. I felt like if I'm going to go into this, I'm just going to go for it. So I actually just put the Swamp Fox on here, took it out to the range. I noticed there's a little bit high in regards to the visual on it. So I dropped it lower and I felt very good. You know, I'll show you those results when I do the video on it. Guy comments saying he doesn't like the SIG coating coming off. And I think that's kind of a bummer too. Like I'm even looking at my 225 today and I've been holstering and unholstering and all that other great stuff. And even that's wearing a little bit, which is kind of shocking. I mean, you would think steel versus Kydex would, the steel would win out, but there's a lot of wear on it from the holster already. Turbo Bill is saying that Glock has so much aftermarket stuff that's at advertising itself. And that's true. It has a whole market behind it. So you're absolutely right. It's a good point. No problem, sir. All right. So now I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Maybe I should have, but I was like, screw it. I'm just going to do the red dot, or in this case, the green circle dot. But from what I've heard is that it has something to do with it being set for military distance. I don't know what that means, so don't quote me on that. But I know that there are some guns that have that problem out of the box, that it shoots low because of it. So if one of you guys know what I'm talking about, let me know. My hands are too big for 365 and or XL. I'm a big Glock fan, but I get slide by from the 43X and 43. Oh, that's a good choice too. You know, I wish they would redesign Walther guns a little bit. I wish they would drop the slide height a little bit on those guns because they're so good. I mean, they really are such good guns, except for the CCP. And I just wish they would just kind of, you know, streamline it a little bit more, Walther. Come on, damn it. Let's see. Keith is saying they dropped the grip safety on the Hellcat. Yeah, I know. I saw that. That's kind of an intriguing gun. You know, I mean, it is what it is. I know that Johnny from 180 Seconds did a video tonight on that and just bashed the shit out of him. So, I mean, you know, you buy what you like. Bottom line, buy whatever the hell it is that you like out there. Thank you, G-Man. It is a combat sight system, so it is going to shoot low. So yeah, I will tell you one of the things I did learn on this red dot was it really actually improved my grip quite a bit, which I'll talk to you guys when I do the review. Constitutional Right saying, is the FN 509 midsize MRD a good Glock replacement for an RDS shooter? I would say yes. As a matter of fact, I've been looking at them, but their prices are just ridiculous. For me personally, that's my next one that I want. I really want the 509M, the MRD, but the prices are absolutely 100% bullshit. When you get a gun like this that performs as good as this did, there's no reason for an MRD to be 600 and change, or any red dot optic ready gun at this point. So, hopefully they'll come down in price, or maybe there'll be a used one online. But that's one I just can't do right now. It's just too much money, which sucks because I really want one. I really, really want one because I want to drop this bad boy in there. I want to drop this in there, and I can't until I get one. So that's on the want list right now. So Dustin's asking thoughts on changing the trigger, shoe, etc. on a carry gun. I'm not trying to open a can of worms, just trying to get your opinion. So, there's a lot of different schools of thought on this. I don't have a problem necessarily. First off, I don't have a problem carrying a trigger that's been, customized. I really don't. Again, I'll say that with a grain of salt by saying, as long as the trigger's not like a 2-pound trigger pull for a striker fire, I'm good. But I don't have any problem doing that. I have apexes on all my guns that they make them for. I drop new springs in, whatever I want to do. If it's just a shoe, I don't think there's any problem with that at all. You're just changing the shape of the trigger. You're not necessarily reducing anything else. So I would say maybe it's probably not that bad of a deal. But again, everybody's different. Let's see. Do I take any pistol classes or courses? Personally, right now, I do not. Years and years ago, I did do some training, but I don't do anything right now. I need to. I would like to. But there's just not a lot going on around this area, where I live. It's just not there are some, but then they charge you a ridiculous fee to do it. And I'm just like, I'm not doing that. I'm not. Glock has a program that first responder veterans can purchase Glock pistols. Yes, that's called Blue Label. Oh, really? Nice. Well, that Blue Label is all the time. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but I have a Blue Label discount whenever I want it. Which, if I was gonna get a Glock, again, I'd probably get a Glock 45 MOS. That's the one that I also have on my list right now, guys. So maybe this summer, maybe next summer, I'll pick one up on the Blue Label because they're pretty cheap. All right, guys, it's 8:59 right now. We had 70 people show up tonight, which is really cool. I really appreciate all you guys checking this out on Sunday nights. But we're going to wrap it up right now. Oh, actually, hold on. Wait 1 second. It says live 57 minutes, 38 seconds. So I technically have 2.5 more minutes with you. So we'll do 2.5 more minutes. Let's see. Michelangelo, what about Smith & Wesson? I'm not sure what that means. Military is a 25-meter silhouette target if what we qualify with. As long as it hits the shaded area with the pistol, you're good. Let's see. Dennis saying, too bad you live far from me. Local range has 2-hour skill classes multiple times a week for $50. Well, really? Where's that at? Where's that out, Dennis? Tell me. Let's see. For Blue Label. Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know if Smith offers a Blue Label. I don't know if they do. You think they would? I don't know. I'd have to check that out. We always talk about Glock, but it's usually, that's the only one anybody ever talks about. I know that CZ did away with that program. They don't do it anymore, which I thought was screwed up. And everybody's checking out for the night. All right, guys. So we're gonna stop this now. It is 9 o'clock. So again, I just want to say thanks everybody for coming out tonight, man. It's always good to have a group of people come out, want to discuss guns and talk about whatever else they want to talk about. Hopefully, whatever information we get from each other is good stuff. Ranger 10 is saying Smith does not do it, which is interesting. That's really odd. But then again, their prices are lower than Glock's anyway. So, I could see why. But again, I hope you guys have a great night, and enjoy your week and enjoy your day off tomorrow if you're off. And if not, well, then work hard, play hard, and I'll see you here next Sunday again. Oh, actually, next Sunday I won't be able to be here. I have something going on. So next Sunday is off. But I hope you guys have a great week. Stay safe. And as always, everyone, freedom is it's never free, guys.